Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, CNBC News, NBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, and more, because I'm on a happy 88 mission. 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. So I have topics and guests and special series here for you to that end. And you'll notice I'm not alone in the studio today. I have my first and third Wednesday co-host. Her name is Colette Tracy. She's an author, professor, and my teammate. When we talk, it's a series called Real Women Talk. So I'd like to welcome back to the studio, Colette Tracy.
Thank you, Dr. Marissa.
Happy New Year to you. It is, I saw you last year.
Yeah.
In studio. And the way we can catch up is having breakfast together and having a little chat. Y'all know that I love to start almost every show. This is show number 851, but who's counting? And we start in the most positive way by listing 8 specific things that we are grateful for. So for each, unless we have people that sometimes like to play along, if you are tuned in on from your car, AM 1050, FM 106.5, that covers a space of 5 million homes in Southern California, then please do not type while you're driving. But if you are anywhere near a smart machine, you can go to my YouTube channel. I'm going to put the link up in the bio in a second. Also, my LinkedIn, where Colette and I are pretty active there, and Facebook. So you have 3 choices from which you can participate as we talk today about how to resolute or not to resolute, the good, bad, and the gorgeous about New Year's resolution. So, but let's start with breakfast. Colette, I'll let you start while I get this link, and you can just go ahead and do 4 things that you're grateful for.
Okay. Well, while I am in a very good mood this morning, I am grateful to be alive. Okay. I'm grateful for my career and the opportunities, the many that I receive. I'm grateful for having congenial and excellent communicators with the people I work with, including Dr. Marissa. And I'm grateful to be on the show and be able to talk about my books and such. So thank you.
Yay. Thank you for those 4 gratitudes. I see some eyeballs rolling in. Thank you for tuning in. We're doing gratitude sandwich for breakfast as usual. I'm grateful that I'm home. I'm back from Toronto. I got in last night. Here, I'll give you a show of why I'm so excited. That is the beach that I live on. So I was broadcasting from my brother's place in Toronto. I was there for 2 weeks because my mom has Parkinson's and she also got COVID again. So I spent my holidays with her, and that was great. But boy, there's nothing like flying home and getting back into the routine. And I'm really grateful that I only gained 2.4 pounds, which is, I'm sure, due to the fact that I only allowed myself no butter tarts at all. The last time I went home for 10 days, I gained 6 pounds, I believe. And I also only had 1 bag of Humpty Dumpty cheesies. I gave myself a 12% break on that one, but and I couldn't exercise at all because I put my back out. My backup was against the wall, thanks to staying over in a hotel because they canceled the flight there. They canceled the flight back. But I'm grateful that my back is healed enough. I'm back into my routine and I did not gain that much weight. So I'm really grateful. And let's see, I also stopped are you in Chicago? You're in Chicago, right?
Yes, suburb of Chicago, but yeah.
So guess where I was yesterday?
In Chicago?
I was in Chicago. They canceled. First, they delayed. I'm going to have to say that this is a joint thing where I love the fact that you can get rerouted. So I have to give some props to American Airlines because they were very good about getting me home. And I actually arrived ahead of time rather than the WestJet. They're having a few problems for sure. And because there was no weather yesterday, but they moved the flight and then they canceled it altogether. But they put me on an American. So I'm grateful for that. And I got to go. I was going to show you, see if you can recognize this. Because it's like one of my favorite things in the world. So I need to hit them up for sponsorship funds. You recognize?
I can't. Garrett popcorn. Yes.
It's my favorite popcorn in the world.
And you got that in the airport, of course, right?
I did. I made sure I Googled it to see where it was.
Yeah, it's very limited. And I know it's in the airport. Yeah, but it's
it's so good. But that's what I had for dinner yesterday. So, but I'm super glad to be back. And it's always great to have co-hosts to bounce stuff off of. And the show, especially, I have, let's see, tomorrow is Straight Talk with Sam Works. He's actually he still is my sound engineer. And we have a lot of fun talking about older women, younger men. I don't know if you caught that one. That was fun. And then we do have a new co-host coming on soon. And she is the daughter of Otis Williams, who is the founder of The Temptations.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So you're in great company. And that'll be coming up on Fridays. And remind me during the commercial break, I also have a free ticket to her son and past guest of mine, Trace Austin's concert in a couple of days. It's here. I would give them to you, but you're too far away.
Yeah. One of these days, I'm going to make it out there. No,
there you go. There you go. Perfect. All right. So we finished with our gratitude in the morning. And then tonight before bed, I want you to formulate 8 specific things that you like about yourself. That's the bottom of the bun in the sandwich. The day is the filling. Mm-hmm. So you're much more likely to have a great day and be happy 88% of the time if you start with gratitude and you end with appreciations for yourself. So what do you like about yourself? That way you're not going to, look for love in all the wrong places.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Colette.
So is it 8 for myself or
no,
8 between us? Okay, that's what I thought.
8 between us, yeah.
Okay.
So we'll go back and forth this time. I fixed the link while you were gratituding.
Okay, so like you, Dr. Marissa, I appreciate my self-discipline. I am losing weight, and I started during the holiday season, so suffice it to say, I didn't lose a whole lot, a couple pounds.
That's okay.
Because I gained one back, but now I'm down a couple more pounds since right after the holiday. So I appreciate that about myself, the discipline, the putting my mind to a goal, and man, I am going to get it. If I make that goal, I'm getting it. So I appreciate that.
Okay, and I'm going to go. We'll go back and forth this time because I appreciate that. I love my sense of taste, that it's so important. That's why I'm so grateful I haven't had COVID, because I'm desperately afraid of that, losing your taste and smell. And I know people who have lost it and not come back. So
Wow.
that has been the reason why I still wear masks and want to keep myself, and I test every day, so that I don't lose that. So I love my attuned sense of taste.
Very good. For me, I love my ability to multitask or compartmentalize. But more so than before, I'm getting to the point where I've really got a lot of things, so I have to start streamlining. But yeah, I've been able to do that very effectively for most of my career. So I appreciate that.
Cool. I appreciate that. I love new things. I adore the delight that I have when I discover new things.
Hmm. I appreciate about myself the fact that I love music. And if I am not in a great place, I could take a song and actually bring myself into a better place.
Mm.
The same thing with movies, or certain movies. They just when I think about them, they bring a joy to my mind. There's a
Mm.
vibe, yeah.
Good. I will piggyback on that. I appreciate that. I know how to soothe myself.
Hmm.
And we just got a thumbs up. I don't know who it was, for you or for me, but it doesn't matter. We both got a
Hmm.
finger. Someone gave us the finger. It was a thumbs
Hmm.
up.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Hmm.
So self-soothing is
Hmm.
something that I appreciate. I've learned how to do,
Hmm.
so I don't have to go to someone else to feel better.
Right. And I think that's a very important skill. We talked about that last week too. For me, I really appreciate that I am aware of my energy and how it can shift, and AKA my mood, energy, whatever you want to call it. And I know how to I'm aware of that, and I know how to get myself back on track when I need to.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And last but not least, I appreciate that I love style. It's something
Me
I
too.
have, I revel in it. I cultivate it. I have my own unique style. I walk through, Chicago airport with my, I'm bringing back the leg warmer.
Mhm.
And
Giving
I
with our
got
back in a big
so
way.
many, and so many people were appreciating that, and we'll see how quickly it catches on. I love
Hmm.
the trend setting weirdness of my style.
Hmm. Me
And
too.
that is and that
Beautiful.
is it for today's breakfast with Colette Tracy and Dr. Marissa on Real Talk here on Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show on KZAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. And we are now going to change over, fly over, since I just flew back, onto the topic for the day. And we have fun. It is my favorite part, really. Well, that's not true. Every part of the show is my favorite, but I do love always when I get to ask my co-host, what do you want to talk about? And then we play with it a little, and then we have the topic for the day. So you go ahead and start, and then I'll finish up with what I would like to talk about too.
Okay. Well, we spoke about, you and I, Dr. Marissa, about like kind of killing your New Year's resolutions, and obviously not intentionally. And I thought about also the blues that set in after the holiday, and I could go back to being a kid, right? And oh, Christmas is over, and it was so much fun, and I have to go back to school, and to the adult years of saying, wow, I've got to deal with winter now. The party's over. We're not going to have another kind of celebration like this. And then also as adults too, and not to be a downer, but the thing is, sometimes we think about the bills now, depending on what we spend, and oh my gosh, I've got to tighten that's my household. I got to tighten my budget. And so, that makes it difficult sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think I would like to give some tips, like we always do on the show. I think that it's quite normal. I don't like that word. It's quite
Okay. Before we
common.
get in, Yeah, before you launch into tips, you know how I like to spend a little time just, you know, laying down the framework first. I didn't know if
Okay.
you were going to go into the tip. You were going to go
Yeah.
on the tip,
Well,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
talk about because I feel like yeah, I feel like that's really pretty much what I have to say about it. I think
Oh
that
no, no, no. There's way more, Colette.
okay,
This is
okay,
a whole. I just wanted you to let people know the topics. So we're just
okay,
introducing that
okay.
right now without I don't want you to, you know, spoil the whole all the solutions
Right,
of the tip.
where we
We
have to go.
usually, yeah, we're going to
Yeah.
do that in the second half of the show for those of you who have not been part of this particular series. That's what Colette and like to do. We do focus more on the professional, overachieving, perfectionistic women, but we are also expanding our reach to men. And Farah, I just saw this great comment. I wanted to welcome
Music
him
marks the place
to
and
the
time. I love
show.
that.
He's agreeing with you. So you got the finger, not me.
Mhm.
It was your comment about music, but Farron is not only has been a guest on my show, he's also a host on the station. So
Awesome.
I don't know
Well, thank you,
if you
Farron.
ever
I don't
meet.
know you, but I appreciate it, and I feel exactly the same way as you know. So I
Yeah.
think the great thing would be, Dr. Marissa, for you to lead where you want to go because we usually start with you leading. So I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah, usually you lead. So
Who is the control freak here? I
I'm just
wonder.
kidding. I'm pretty cool and calm. You know,
No,
just
no, I'm teasing you about me.
I
It's
know that.
me. It's
So it's
me.
just like, yeah. So just go
Okay.
ahead and I
All
can
right.
follow
All
any
right. I
lead.
tried to throw the ball. I tried to throw the ball. This is why it took 8 years for me to be able to share my studio with co-hosts. Is obviously you know that I'm very shy and I have nothing to say. Sarcasm is another service I offer, but it is delightful. I just want us to be real clear at the beginning
Yeah,
what it is that we're setting the framework for.
yeah.
So you definitely, there is a Blue Monday. There's an actual day. Did you know that?
Yes.
Called Blue Monday. You knew that.
Blue
I
flu.
didn't know that until
Yeah,
last year. But for all the reasons that you're saying, there's so much to be
yeah,
blue about if you're
yeah,
looking for evidence of that. And you just mentioned a whole bunch of reasons why, it's
yeah,
a letdown, the money spent, now I got to pay for it, blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
So that's that side. Now, I also wanted to address why resolutions have such a short shelf life.
Hmm.
So if you look at the statistics, I was going to look that up now. They do a lot of research. How long do people stay on their New Year's resolutions? What the most common ones are, and I'm just curious if this year's, let's see, 9 on average. Oh, here we go. I'm going to share this. Present, because we can do this. I love the fact that we can do this.
Hmm.
All right, here we go. Do you see that?
Well, it's small, but
On
yes.
average, only 9 to 12% of people keep their New Year's resolution. So this has been a study that's been going on for a while. Of the 1 week, 75% are still successful in keeping it. 2 weeks, the number drops to 71. After a month, the number drops again to 64%. And after 6 months, 46% of people who make resolutions are still successful. So that's less than half, but that's actually higher than I thought. And this was updated in 2022. So let's see. Americans, they did a specific poll. They abandon 32 days after. So, that's not very long.
Hmm.
So I thought we could talk about some tips on how to make them last longer. And I think it's great. I think the kinds of resolutions, the top three are losing weight. I had it up before. So top three oops. Let's see. What does it say? The top three are Exercise more, eat healthier, and lose weight.
Mhm.
Okay. So, Farron, you're welcome to chime in if you're still there. But so what are let's make this personal. What are your resolutions?
Ooh, yeah. And for myself, maintaining my health is number one. Mental health and physical health. Losing weight is a part of that. And of course, as a woman, it always has to do with aesthetics, but it's also about my health. So I have like a pre-diabetes thing going on right now. I'm not taking medicine for it yet, but I have to be very careful. So I don't want to develop that. So that's that's my top goal. And the second really is to balance my time so that I can be with my family, my friends, and myself, and still get things done that I need to, because that has to be a necessity. And third, I would say, is my work and expanding that work and learning and growing on the research that I'm doing for my PhD and for my books. And yeah, thank you.
Perfect. All right. And Farron saying time management is his resolution for this year. So the first thing that I would like to share is I believe that one of the reasons why we're not as good keeping resolutions is we're not specific enough. So when you say be more healthy, when you say, I'm picking on you only because you did this, is a good example, Farron as well, time management, when you say more balance, and a lot of people do this. I do this. So I'll say I want to lose, so many pounds, or I want to be healthier. What does that mean? Okay. And here's where people fall off the beam is either they're not specific. And when you're not specific, then when you screw up, all you pay attention to is what you screwed up in, instead of giving yourself an attaboy every time you do the thing that you're trying to do. So if you have resolutions of be more healthy, just 3 things. And this is another thing that overachieving women do is if we do a list, it's impossible to keep because there's 10 specific things and it's overwhelm, and it's not possible to do all of those things 100%. And this is perfectionism is a dis-ease with life. Perfectionism is setting yourself up to fail because it's not possible to be able to do all of those things. So let's use your example. Keep healthy. What are 3 specific things that you can do that at the end of the day, you can say, did I do it today or not do it today?
Yeah. Well, the thing is losing weight. That's a specific goal. I have a specific number in mind. I'm just not sharing it.
Okay. I don't want you to share it.
Yeah.
But again, that is general. Give me 3 things that you're going to do to lose weight. What are the 3 things that you normally? So for me, when I went to Canada, I knew that I had 6+ pound gain weight the last time I went because I had a butter tart every day because I love butter tarts and you can only get them in Canada. And I tried to get it at the airport the last day and it didn't work. And I tried to get somebody to bring one to me. That didn't work. So I made the specific no butter tarts every day and no Humpty Dumpty cheesies every day. But I had one really bad day, so I allowed myself 1 bag of those Humpty Dumpty cheeses. So I didn't beat myself up for that. And 3, doing my intermittent, not eating before 12, not eating after 8. So that's what I want, is as specific as you can. And I believe that sometimes when we do have a number in our head, like I've said, Project Love My Body 2.0, we're on 3.0 now because I gained a little weight, but I know I can lose it, is I don't have a specific number. Because when you have a specific number, and let's say that it's unrealistic. I know that I have body dysmorphia. And I, when I'm super thin, I think I look good and I look like Karen Carpenter because I have a history of that. So you don't have to do, I'm not saying, it's bad, but for some people, when they have a specific number and it's like, you don't reward yourself for what you've done.
Right.
You're only
The
going to
small
reward
steps.
yourself
Yes.
until you get that number.
You
So I'm
know,
trying
I don't agree with that. No, I don't agree
Okay.
that to do that.
Okay.
But numbers work for me.
Yeah.
It gives, and I write them down. It gives me a
Okay.
solid goal. Actually, I have it right in front of me on my whiteboard on the wall. The exact amount I want to lose and when. Okay, those kinds of things help me. I've
Okay.
always been very goal oriented. Unfortunately, though, I've done this many times since I was probably 35 because I didn't really have to worry at all. I was a size 2 until I was 35, 1, 2. But it's gone up, it's come down. It's gone up, it's come down. So specifically, I would say, it's not fair. Biology is not fair to women. I'm sorry. I'm going to whine a little bit about that because like I was on keto and I had lost 23 pounds. This is probably going back now about a year and a half ago. I didn't stop keto. I kept eating the same way. And guess what? I gained it all back and then some. And this has happened to me many times. But this time specifically, I was on keto. I knew I was following it. But what happens is sometimes your body gets used to that and says, okay, we're not losing anymore. We're going to hold on to and now start gaining. That being said, the biggest weaknesses for me in my diet, of course, bread. I'm Italian, right? Pasta and sweets. Those are the biggest things for me. I love them.
Yeah.
And
So
giving that up is a sacrifice, but I've lived without them before. I can do it again.
right. Have you ever tried 88% so that you have a little bit of wiggle room, or does it, when you have a little wiggle room, you go all or nothing?
No, I don't do that. I'll just readjust the goal, because I've been in business development for many years, and you start with absolutely nothing when you do business development, and you have your goals. If you achieve them, and milestones are very important. Okay, just like any kind of strategy for a business, milestones are very important. Am I on track? Yes. Am I no? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? How do I change that? Check-in points. Okay. So that's how you do it. If you're, if you're barking up one tree, so to speak, whatever that is that is not working, how do I change that? And how do I get on track? And if I get to March of 2023, I've already expanded the goal. I'm giving myself until right before summer starts to have done that. Now,
Okay.
But I will adjust it. Yeah.
Okay. And this is the great thing about having co-hosts is you're hearing, a whole plethora and range of, what works for some people won't work for other people. What has, the tips are whatever works for you. That's always been my thing. There's no, I don't have all the answers. Colette doesn't have all the answers. No one has all the answers. However, when you hear something that sounds like you and it has worked for someone else, that's what we're all here for, to share what works and to see, and I would say that I did that goal oriented thing for a long time, and I've lost and gained probably 1,000 pounds.
So have I.
And at some point I realized that this isn't working. Now, what's funny is I've realized, like you, that I do need a goal, because I went to a program where I was so disgusted with my weight that I went to a program that said the only rule is you cannot diet.
Right.
And I gained 10 pounds because, I like that. I like the discipline. I like having the goal. My only thing is, the numbers, when people say I'm going to make 100,000 next year, or I'm going to make 50,000, it's like, it's such an arbitrary thing you throw up against the wall that you lose sight of the milestones. but you're saying there are milestones, so that's important. I want to go to Farron here before we go on break. First, to be honest with myself, I have to be honest with myself because I have a time management concern based on what I want to accomplish in my vision, because it might not be time related. Okay, so I'm gonna pick on Farron for a second. And time management is another one of those things where, people say, I want to have better time management. And then I say, well, what does that mean? Specifically, what is that? Well, I end up not completing things that I need to do, and completing things that really don't make a difference. Or more often I hear from people, they really have the intention to do something. They really want to do something that's meaningful. They really want to make a difference in this and that and this and that. But finishing is a distractor. It's related to self-sabotage. You know what you need to do, you know who you need to call, and then it just doesn't finish. I've always wanted to be a procrastinator, but I never got around to it. So this is where specifically, going to look at, and I have my coaching clients actually draw a whole timetable. And don't judge it, but what do you do in a normal day? Well, this I do in the morning and from here to here, and this is what I do. And it's just an average day, an average week. And we go back and look, and what starts with a real strong commitment in the morning, by the end of the day, you're so exhausted that anything that you had planned, it's like, I can't possibly finish this, so I'm going to do nothing. So one of the biggest sabotagers of resolutions is that I'm going to do it all. And if I can't do it all, I'm going to do nothing. So this is how people end up in bed, not opening their bills, not getting up and taking a shower, not cleaning their room, living and then you're depressed and you wonder why. So this is what we can control. Is I've talked about the gospel according to Nike is just do it, right? There's another one that I've made up to help me is JFI, just finish it. And this is especially for women, because we're so easily distracted because we're multitaskers. You walk in a room, I'm going to make the bed. And then on the way to the bed, 5 things happen and then it doesn't get made. And then you're distracted. This is time non-management. Whatever comes, you act on. Now, before you finish it, you ask, in the scheme of my goals, is this a big hit or a small hit? If it's a big hit, finish it. If it's a small hit, that's where that 12% comes from. I'm going to finish 88% of what I set out to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. So,
Farron, yes.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm looking to see what my relationships are. So far, it's looking like doubt is my experience of myself. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. If you're the all or nothing, and it has to be, you are either, you slay it or you leave it, then we're going to have issues. We've got to have that point where we can, 88%
and reevaluating. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're wondering what we're talking about, it's how to make your New Year's resolution stick on your butt. No, I'm just kidding. Stick in longer than the average and actually achieve those things that you want to achieve. You are seeing me with my fabulous co-host. Her name is Colette Tracy. She is the author of Both Sides Now. I'm going to have her talk about her book when we come back from break, and it is here on KCAA, Real Women Talk with Dr. Marissa and my co-host,
Colette Tracy.
You're on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. We'll be right back. Colette, take it away. Tell me about your book.
Okay. Well, my book is called Both Sides Now, Reflections for Women at Midlife. It is available through Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, Barbara'sBookstore.com, as well as IndieBound. So, and the book is really about women at midlife. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a certain time period, really, because we can, age-wise, we can run the gamut from 40 to 75, 80, okay, or more, depending on how we see these transitions in our lives. So the book really talks about the transitions in your life, especially at middle age, maybe 40, 50, where your kids are growing up or your life is changing. There's some change that comes about in your life, whether that's through the loss of a friend or sibling or parent, or changing roles with parents. It leaves you in a new place where you kind of wake up and say, wow, now I'm here. What do I do? Right? And we all have a myriad of ideas and thoughts, what makes life good and bad. And there are some things that are out of our control. Really, there are some things, especially at this time in life, because, and I'm speaking of loss, and I've had personal loss, very, very difficult. But the problem is, you have to learn how to pivot with that. You want to be able to keep going on and find new ways, new ideas, new lens that we have to look at ourselves through. So, and we have to specifically and intentionally do that in many ways. And I can see women saying, oh, I don't want to have to intentionally make myself happy or whatnot. Guess what? If you don't, what is the quality of your life right now? And like Dr. Marissa and I spoke about, I'm not loving myself or being proud of myself at my final weight. I'm doing my best to look in the mirror now and say, hey, you're doing good. And I've got my milestones. You've made some progress. Pat yourself on the back for that. That's what the book is about. I have a course designed around it that is nationally being taught at many fine universities through the OLLI program. Very, very pleased with that. Yeah, that's
fantastic. All right. And you can get the book. Where can you get it?
Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com, Barbara'sBookstore.com, or on site. I think they're more Chicago area, but also IndieBound.
Fantastic. That's the book, Both Sides Now, with Colette Tracy, the author, and doing great work. And I know that if you are a professional woman that is, just wondering how to navigate with grace and not lose your drive, then this is the book for you. Thank you so much, Colette. Give her a little. We will switch the music for that. And it is a giveaway, Asian Oprah giveaway to a concert in 2 days. You'll remember him, my guest, Trace Austin. He's the grandson of the amazing Otis Williams, the founder of The Temptations. The winner of the tickets just got COVID, cannot go. So I'm offering again a backstage pass as well as tickets. I'm going to be there with his mom, my friend I was mentioning earlier, Alon Carter Price. This is in LA, so if you are interested in going and getting free tickets and a backstage pass to Trace Austin's music, he is headlining on the I'm Still Serious tour. Sorry, he's he's opening for that, and that will be this Friday, 7 o'clock at the Regent Theater. Go to drmarissa.life and put in Trace Austin in the subject line. If you scroll to the very bottom, then I'll know to get you the tickets, and we'll email you with instructions. I will be there as well, backstage. So it'll be a fun night this Friday night. Join Trace and I and Alon and a whole host of people enjoying his music. All right. And that is it for commercial break. We're going to come back now with Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa. Come on.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. I'm Dr. Marissa on Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. And this is Real Women Talk series, a special every first and third Wednesday of the month. She's an author. You just heard about her book. Really want everyone to have access to it so that you can do the introspective work, since we do focus on the overachieving, recovering control freak women that we can say we are for sure. We're talking about New Year's resolutions. We've already had great tips. Colette, any more things that you would advise women on how, and men, on how to be resolved a little, up the chance of keeping those resolutions all year?
Yeah, I think that as you are, Dr. Marissa, the Asian Oprah, I've always loved Oprah, and I've watched her shows just about the whole time she was on, not from the very beginning, but very early on. One of the things she talked about a lot was financial issues with people, and I really appreciate that and respected it, because I think that it's another deep, dark secret that we really don't talk about in public. No one wants to admit. Everyone wants to look like they're doing well and they're having they're just got everything they want, especially when we look at social media. So I would really recommend, I guess, after the first of the year, when you see all the bills, maybe you used your charge cards or whatever, make a financial plan, because I can tell you, when you see those things, you see your accomplishments with that. So it's not sometimes just about earning money. It's always people thinking, I need to earn more. I need more money. I need to earn more. It's really about managing that money. And in my book, I talk about the fact that my husband and I had financial issues because, for a lot of reasons, but mainly because he lost his business and that kind of thing, but still have been struggling to get back on our feet through the years. And I think people really need to be realistic. If they're over their heads, I would say debt consolidation. You don't have to file bankruptcy. It may affect your credit to some extent, but it feels really good when, and not everybody needs that, but for those that determine, I would say, get a hold of your finances, know where you're at with your finances. Yeah. And I think that's something after the first of the year that I think a lot of people think about after all the expense of the holidays.
And I have a touchy-feely tip on that. I agree with you that you can look at your finances as never enough, or I always have enough. And I believe that you can be miserable your entire life if nothing is ever enough. So my advice is, I've been doing this probably for 2 years, is if anytime you see my wallet, I have a $100 bill in my wallet. And it reminds me that I could buy whatever that thing is out there. So I see something, I like it, I could buy it, or I could choose not to buy it. So that feeling of abundance is my way of managing my finances, knowing that I will always have enough. I know that, even if you've made a lot of money and you've lost a lot of money, that's what happened to me through the divorce. I, as the judge said to me, you wanted equal rights. I had to pay out. Traditionally, it's the man, and I had to pay out a lot of money. And I'm recovering from that, and I could see that as what I lost, or I could see that as that was the chapter that was called marriage. And have I learned? Yes. And am I angry and bitter? And I could stay in that focus of all the things that I've lost. Or I could say that chapter's closed. And now I know COVID helped me save $15,000. Like, everybody looks at how much they lost in earnings, but have you it's a great exercise,
Yeah.
how much I saved not going to Starbucks, how much I saved not going out
Yeah.
to eat, how much I saved making
Yeah.
more food, how much I saved not buying new clothes, or at least bottoms.
Yeah. No, I definitely like. Okay.
$15,000.
Yeah.
So it was very it's the way you look at money
Mhm.
is so important. If you want
Mhm.
to be financially not looking at as you said, the debt, or then look at the abundance. What
Mhm.
have you been able to accomplish with the money you had? A lot
Mhm.
of people take all their savings and they use it in a vacation, and they're there for 2 weeks, and all they're doing is complaining
Mhm.
about the vacation. And I say, you just blew your
Mhm.
entire year's savings
Yeah.
either complaining about something, or you're using the time on vacation to think about what you're not
Mhm.
doing at work. So how are you spending that money? Are you really enjoying what you
Mhm.
are spending? So
Mhm.
that, to complement what you were saying.
Mhm. Thank you. Yeah, and I'm going to say this. I'm going to put it on the table because I'm a real talk person, right? I'm a real woman. You know, it also depends when you are married, right? And you're in a long-term marriage. Uh, there are differences sometimes between, the way you feel about money. I'm with you, Dr. Marissa. I really, for me, uh, money doesn't concern me very often because, and my husband will say this is because I'm sort of a spendthrift, but it has nothing to do with that because I know that I can always fish, right? I wrote an article about you can teach someone or you can give someone a fish and they can eat for a week, or teach them how to fish and they fish for a lifetime. So I feel for me, I've never been without. Okay. My husband, he's a different type of personality and he's very conservative. He's an accountant by profession. You have to manage that difference, you see. And if we talk about it, if we're going to be real too, how many marriages break up because of finances? Really, a lot, you
Yeah.
know. And so I think that yeah, we have to learn to work together. We have to learn to take control. Young people today, they're doing separate bank accounts. They're not combining all the money. I don't always think that's good, honestly, but for the marriage, but uh, you know, it starts it out with really not having a lot of trust, maybe, kind of thing. But I think,
Interesting.
yeah, I think we need to address that, especially this time of year. It gives you a feeling like you are accomplishing something. It really does when you have them in control.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It says a study by TD Ameritrade
Hmm.
Finance found that 41% of divorced Gen Xers and 29% of boomers say they ended the marriage due to disagreements about money.
Yeah, yeah,
So, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
right on there.
So yeah, thank
Yes.
you.
So, that's probably why I'm single. But it is something to negotiate for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I
I mean, you're
it
a self-made lady. Yeah. So I get that. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, and so people, when they find out how much I paid to end the marriage, they'll say, "Do you want to get married?" And I said, you know, I did that already.
Hmm.
I'm not going to pay for you too.
Hmm.
So that is something. Okay, let me give. We're running out of time as usual. Another tip that I have for keeping your resolutions. I think I talked about finishing it. I talked about just do it. I talked about making specific goals. The other one is called 15 minutes at a time. So if there's a large goal that let's say you want to write a book, or this year I'm going to write a book, or this year I'm going to start a podcast, or this year I'm going to learn a new language, so this year I'm going to learn a musical instrument, right? Or this year I'm going to lose however much weight. It is that can I do something 15 minutes? Because I don't know about you, I remember doing this for my dissertation. I'm going to block off a whole month and that's all I'm going to work on. And then, The first week goes by. Oh, I'll start next week. And this is one of those, that procrastination thing, as well as a little bit of laziness, a little bit
I'll have
of
that sometimes.
yes, and
That's
that's
good for us.
okay. That's
Yeah.
the 12%. But if you say, I'm just going to do this for 15 minutes, and then what happens is, or update your resume. That's a good one. I'm going to update your resume. I hate this. I hate my job, but you do nothing towards looking at maybe it is time to change, and what does the marketplace look like? That takes a little time. So 15 minutes a day, what can I do to look at what else is out there? And play with it. So that's another tool that I use, 15 minutes a day at a time.
Very good.
Yours? I think we got time for one more.
Okay. 15 minutes. Well, I think, what I did when I was writing my book, I set aside time every week. For me, it helped to sit down for a few hours, but that's what I do. I would make the time to sit and do my writing, certain day, certain time. We also had I was writing, it was like a school program. I was through Georgetown, and I had other writers and the instructor. We would get into a Zoom room also, like every week, and take that time for writing, just not saying anything, just sitting there and doing our writing and doing so to really set time aside for that.
Yeah. Perfect. My last one is rewarding yourself. So y'all know I play Candy Crush, and I play it because I use it to reward myself when I do something that I didn't feel like doing or don't want to do, but I know I should do it. So if it's something like, whatever, losing weight or working out, if I accomplish what I didn't want to do, I reward myself with, some play with Candy Crush or whatever it is. So having a reward for yourself that soothes you is another way of making sure that you just don't fall off the beam after the first week of a resolution. And it's not all or nothing. That's going to be my final word. It doesn't have to be, so what, you fell off the beam, get back on it.
Make new
last
goals.
word, Colleen?
Colette.
Colette?
Yeah, it's okay. You said Colleen. It's all right. I would say, like Dr. Marissa, don't make it all or nothing. If you're not on schedule, check yourself at certain points, and see what evaluate what your problems have been, just like you would for me in a business situation. If I'm planning a strategy of how I'm going to accomplish my goals in business, I'm going to stop at intermittent points and wow, am I on track? If I don't make it, maybe it was unrealistic, like you said. Rearrange. Don't be afraid to pivot. Don't be afraid to change or be flexible.
Excellent final word. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Farron, for playing along this morning. And I know you'll be back in 2 weeks if you want to talk to Colette and I. If you have a suggestion for a topic that you would like some specific advice about, please go to drmarissa.life and put in Real Women Talk subject, whatever it is that you would like to do. Thanks for joining us. You are tuned to Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show, and the special series Real Women Talk with co-host
Colette Tracy,
not Colleen, and Dr. Marissa here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. Tune in tomorrow for some naughty talk. No, not naughty talk, but some titillating. No, not titillating. For some scintillating talk here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. Now go and have peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Have the best day ever.